Hey everyone, this is Derek here, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can always find a vehicle on Erangel, as well as the importance of vehicles, especially in the early game as you rank up. So to help me with this video, I'm going to be using an interactive online map. This is free, and I definitely recommend that you check it out when you have time. It works on phones as well as tablets as well as desktops like I'm recording this on. And it's PUBGmap.io. So in a previous video, I talked about PUBGmap.com. I'm not sure if they're the same people or not who developed them, but either way, they're both very useful. And today we are going to be using the .io variety. So I'm on the Erangel map, and you can see here that I can move it around, I can zoom in and zoom out, and today we are going to be looking at guaranteed vehicle spawns. So first, let's go ahead and turn off the loot heat map as well as the boat spawns, and all of these yellow like little markers are locations where a vehicle could spawn in the game. That's a lot of locations. And sometimes they're more likely to spawn here than other times. So like if you dropped like right here, for example, outside Yasnaya, then there's a pretty good chance you're going to be able to find a vehicle because there are so many spawn locations near you. But of interest to us today are these red locations. These guys are garages. And on Erangel, these are where you can always find vehicles. And why does this matter? So we'll take a look at where each one is, but first let me answer the question why this is so important. So especially at higher level games, once you get into like Platinum and Diamond and Crown and beyond, there are going to be a lot of teams that hit up the lesser known places. So not everybody's going to drop in Pachinki or drop School, or Hospital or Georgia Pal or Novo or Malta or wherever, because everyone knows the loot there is great. But they also know that if they die early, they're going to lose a ton of ranking. So generally what people do instead is they loot places like Lipokva or Stabler or wherever, like places that have, or Gatka, like they have decent loot, but they aren't going to be as contested as Pachinki, for example. And one of the ways you can do this is, let's say, for example, the plane route is something like this. So hopefully you can see this on the map. Let's see if we can actually do this. We'll do flight path like from here to here. So let's pretend that that is the flight path for this example. So that means this is basically how far you can jump, and I think this is how far you can jump if you use like the proper technique and you like glide and you take a long time. But you can see all this area down here, especially Primorsk or the military base, it has great loot in it. However, it's not accessible from the plane route. So what good teams do is generally they'll drop somewhere where they know they're going to find a vehicle, which is at one of these garages, and then they'll drive down here and then be able to loot up this place or Novo or wherever in peace without having to worry about other teams. And if other teams show up, they're also going to be driving in, so they're very easy targets. So if you want to get to Primorsk or the military base first, though, you need to know where the vehicle is, where it's guaranteed to be, as well as which vehicle is the closest to your location. So if you wanted to drop military base, obviously you're not going to reach it on this flight path. Instead, what you should do is you should probably aim for this garage in Malta. That way, you're making the best use you can of the plane's flight path, and then you have the shortest distance from a guaranteed vehicle spawn into the military base. A close second would be something like Pachinki. You go here and then you could drive down this way. But if you don't know this map and you don't know where each one of these garages is, you might drop somewhere like Rozhok, where you remember, oh yeah, there's that garage, or here, this one. I remember there's a garage outside the apartments by School. Perfect. Well, the other team dropped here and they have a lot shorter of a drive, so they're going to beat you to the military base and be able to loot that equipment first and probably kill your squad when you eventually show up after driving all the way down there. So where are all these locations? So let's go ahead and we will remove the flight path and we'll take a look at them, because there are a number. There are 16 garages total on the map. And like I said, the garage you pick is very dependent on the plane's flight path as well as where you want to actually loot. And this is useful later in the game too, to know where these are, because say you're trying to drive to get into the zone and you're running out of gas, you don't have a gas can, you could stop at one of these garages, assuming no one took the vehicle, and just swap to a fresh vehicle and then continue with your game. But especially at the higher level games, this is more of an early game strategy, to drop at one of these places, grab the vehicle, and then drive to where you want to go instead. So the first one isn't super useful. It's up north of Stabler, or up north of that giant mountain here where there are the ruins and stuff. And honestly, this one, just know that it's there, but not super useful, because generally there's going to be another garage closer to where you want to drive. Like, even if the plane's flight path is something like this way, southwest to northeast, it's going to be faster to just drop at this garage or this one and then drive to Severny or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm butchering these names, but and drive there or wherever. So there is a vehicle spawn, though. There's also one in Lipokva. There's also one in the complex that's to the northeast of Mansion. This is a very, very useful one here. There's one in Yasnaya. There are quite a few down by Roshaken School. So there's one just north of Watertown along the road. There's one south part of Roshak. There's the one to the compound to the north of the apartments, and one to the northeast of the apartments. So that's a lot of vehicles. Of course, this is the center of the map, so it makes sense that there would be a lot there. We also have the compound to the east of the crates of Georgopol. We also have the garage that is in Georgopol, just on the outskirts of it. There's one south east of Hospital. There's one in the middle of Pachinki. And then there is one down in Malta. And there are 3 down in Novo. So we'll zoom ahead, zoom in to Novo, give the map a second to load. And you can see that these guys all are garages, guaranteed spawns for vehicles. So again, just to kind of recap what we've talked about today, you have 16 garages on the map that are guaranteed 100% vehicle spawns. Definitely learn them over time and get to know where they are, because especially in higher tier games, and you can see the majority of them are located right in the middle of the map, and that is not by accident. There's no, it's not by coincidence that they're here and instead of down here by the quarry. They're up here because every plane route is going to generally fly over Roshaken School and the middle of the map. Regardless of where the plane starts and ends, it almost always will be flying over this area right here. And then you have a vehicle there. So if you know where the vehicles are, you can get one and then drive to where you want to loot up outside the plane's route. So like I was saying, especially in higher level games, this is super important, because everybody's going to know how to get the maximum distance out of the plane's flight path. Everyone's going to know where the good looting spots are. So if the plane's flight path is this way, you can almost guarantee a squad's going to do prison. They're going to do multi-power. But there are also going to be squads going for the smaller complexes. And if you want to loot great loot, but don't necessarily want to contend with another squad, the easiest way to do that is to find the vehicle along the flight path that you can reach that is closest to where you want to loot. So again, we'll use the example of wanting to loot down here in Primorsk, because it has quite a bit of decent loot, more than most people realize. I don't know if I've done a video on here yet, but I probably should, because it's a good location. But if the plane's flight path, I said, we'll pretend that it is something like this, which I've seen this plenty of times before, then if you want to get down here first, you should be targeting the 100% vehicle spawns either in Pachinki or Hospital and then driving down there. That almost guarantees that you're going to get there first, because you could drop somewhere else and maybe find a vehicle and then drive in. But especially at the higher levels, everyone knows what they're doing, so this is the easiest way to guarantee that you are going to be first to a particular location that you can loot up that's outside the plane's flight path. So there you have it. Hopefully this video helped you out, teaching you where the 100% vehicle spawns are, as well as why they're useful, especially at higher level games. And if it did help you, definitely give this video a thumbs up to help grow the channel, and share it with your friends, because I really do appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed already, definitely consider doing that now too, for tons more PUBG Mobile tips, tricks, gameplay videos, and a whole lot more coming soon. My name's Derek G, and I hope to see you on the battlefield soon, or in my Discord, which I'll also leave a link to down below.